Robert Zemeckis' film The Walk tells a true story of daredevil wire walker Philippe Petit, who illegally strung a high wire between the twin towers of the World Trade Centers in 1974 and walked on it without any safety gear at all. To him, it was an act of performance art and an exercise in proving that the impossible was, well, possible. To us, working on the film, it felt a little bit like life imitating art. The Walk's visual authenticity was incredibly important to us, and its all-in production budget of $35 million meant we had to get pretty inventive to achieve the scope of the film. We shot in Montreal and built a 40 by 60 by 12-foot high corner of one of the World Trade Center buildings on stage. An optically based simulcam system gave Zemeckis and his crew a real-time preview of what the final shots might look like. We used it to set vanishing points and horizon lines, which really helped to avoid any nasty surprises in post. It also helped to give the cast of the film important context for the surroundings that they were acting in, rather than just a sea of green screen. All of the activity in the streets down below, from the cars to the people to the flocks of birds and moving atmosphere, was created from scratch. The towers themselves were built perfectly down to every last nut and bolt, and then artists spent months introducing imperfections to make them feel hand-built. The scenery down below was decked out too, with spinning fans and rooftop HVAC units, rain gutters on buildings, and hot dog stands in the streets to make the city feel alive. The world from below looking up required extensive CG builds of Midtown Manhattan, since there was nowhere in Montreal that could double for that location. Just under half an hour of the walk took place either on a corner of one of the Trade Center rooftops or in the void between the towers. This meant that we had to accommodate every conceivable camera angle from up high, and also a vast number of lighting scenarios, from nighttime to early morning to blustery overcast and a sunny fall day. So we couldn't just create one matte painting and reuse it like we normally would in a single environment. The lighting really had to be alive the entire time. All of that flexibility meant we'd have a massive amount of rendering to do. We knew we couldn't give Zemeckis what he wanted and stay on budget using a big traditional render farm, so we developed software that allowed the vast majority of the film to be rendered in the cloud. In all, 9.1 million core hours, that's over a millennium on a single processor, was rendered in the cloud. Cost-wise, the cloud saved 50% versus traditional methods, and the walk amounted to the largest single use of cloud computing in the history of cinema. We only built a small section of the World Trade Center's iconic lobby, so digital set extensions expanded it to its full glory. Our workload was almost doubled because of the chromed-out floor-to-ceiling elevator banks, which reflected digital architecture and people. Virtual camera shots like this one needed fully digital environments, traffic, and crowds. We even had period-accurate papers in the newsstands. Our digital reproductions of the towers had to replicate the chameleon-like feel of the real building's broadly reflective anodized aluminum facades. The world around them needed to live in 360 degrees for every single shot to give just the right reflective feel, and we used V-Ray's GGX BRDF to emulate the thousands of microscopic bumps in every square inch of their surfaces. Different stages of the rooftop's lifespan, from early construction to fully completed, each called for its own unique build. Old Montreal doubled for Paris, and we used both period-accurate and modern photography from real locations in Paris to sell the place and the era. The film is peppered with shots that involve multiple takes, blended from one to the other to create seamless transitions between different times and places. Some more complex shots like this one, set during Philippe's first illegal high-wire walk, called for full CG builds of landmarks like Notre Dame's Cathedral. Actor Joseph Gordon-Levitt studied wire walking with the real guy, Philippe Petit, for 8 days before the shoot. There were still some stunts like this one, though, that were too complicated for him to do on his own, so we brought in a professional performer for those. Joe's face was 3D scanned in a variety of expressions using photogrammetry-based methods, and we shot lighting reference of him in each camera setup. When we put all that together with video-based performance capture of Joe himself, we had a recipe for the 37 digital face replacement shots that let him walk the wire like a pro. We hope that audiences are moved by this love letter to the Twin Towers, and that they can find inspiration in Philippe's story of overcoming the impossible, all in the pursuit of creating art.